Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you joining us today on our dialogue, the most popular European residency. All right. So while there are many other prominent European countries offering residency by investment pathways, the Portugal Golden Visa has ranked as the #1 residency program by Forbes. As I'm familiar with this program myself, I cannot deny this, and it is of no surprise to me why the Portugal Golden Visa has grabbed the #1 spot. You may ask why this program has gained such popularity. Hence, today we are eager to share a comprehensive information about this program background, the benefits, the requirements, and also to get to know Portugal as a country as well. So to do this, I'm happy to have Desmond, the Managing Director of Global Migration Solutions, whom I believe will be the best person to share this information with all of you, as he truly believes in the benefits of this program and is very passionate to create an awareness and a good understanding on the Portugal Golden Visa. So Desmond, shall we begin?
Sure, Audrey. Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Desmond here. I'm looking forward to share with every one of you about this program.
All right. Okay, Desmond. Let's begin, okay, with the most interesting question. What is this Golden Visa about and how long has this program been running for? And if you could also share with us about the reason why you believe this is actually the best program in the EU.
Sure, Audrey. I think this is a very important question and the question that most of the client or most of the people that I've met, would have asked me. And this program was being introduced by the Portuguese government back in 2012. So obviously the idea is to invite the foreign investor to invest in Portugal and in returns for the residency status. And what is interesting about these programs is after a certain number of years, effectively 5 years later, you have the options to apply to become an EU citizen. And I think this is a wonderful program because the program is highly legislated, and I always liked, to offer the programs that is highly regulated to a certain extent. And you can see this Portugal Golden Visa is supported by law, under this various law. So you don't need to be worried over, changes, unexpected changes to a certain extent. Yeah. And it is a stable program, it has been around for 10 years now, and it has successfully raised attention across the world for those who is looking at obtaining an EU citizen effectively. So why is it that this program is so popular and became the #1 among all? And in fact has been now nominated by Forbes as the world best migration or the residency by investment programs. Now, I have helped to summarize certain aspects, and why people were to embark on these programs. First of all, we spoke about it, on the reliability, about their programs and the easy entry requirements. So when I talk about these easy entry requirements, I'm going to share with you, with regards to the investment amount. As you know, most of the investment for residency programs might require or would have different investment amount. I would say Portugal Golden Visa relatively have a very manageable investment amount. Yeah, easy to maintain. Yeah, this is one of the very important reasons because some of you might not be ready to move over yet, or some of you were to embark onto these programs just for the purpose of having an options in the future. So these programs serve you really, really well because after you have applied through this visa, it takes you very little efforts to maintain. So effectively, you are expected to spend only 14 days every 2 years in Portugal, and this is very easy to achieve. Yeah. Next, these programs is very family-oriented programs, which the governments allow you to include your spouse, your children's, and parents, and to include also parents-in-law if you wish to bring the whole family across over to Portugal and or rather Europe country. Yeah. So talking about the children, there isn't a maximum age limit provided that they are single, not married, yeah, and they are still studying financially depending upon you. It doesn't matter how old they are, they can be included in this application. So when it comes to these parents and in-law, do take note, they have to be above 65 years old. Okay, so these programs, just like any other residency programs, you do entitled to the free healthcare and your children's education right immediately after the approval of this visa. Yeah. Now, the number 4, it is important, and that is the end game to most of the people who embark onto these programs, because this is probably the easiest programs for you to become an EU citizen, which you are getting the Portuguese passport equivalent to EU passport. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that shortly. Yeah, I believe Audrey, you probably have questions for me on that.
Sure,
and about
definitely.
that, on how you can embark on these programs, and we will walk you through how the transition of becoming an EU citizen. But of course, with being an EU citizen, and you do have the rights to live, work, and study in 27 countries. Yeah. So this probably is a good summary on why this program is very successful and very popular.
All right, thank you, Desmond. Yeah, that actually, especially this is an investment program. I think the fact that it is highly regulated gives a lot of security to the investors. So Desmond, with this being an investment program, can you please share with us what is the investment requirement in terms of the sum, right? How much do they need to invest? What is the mode of investment? And generally, how long must they maintain the investment for this entire program, Desmond?
Sure. So there are various options that you could choose among the investment options, and I will run through with you some of the common ones. Now, first of all, real estate investment. Obviously, this is the majority preference among all the applicants. In fact, 93% of the people choose to invest through the property. Yeah. So you can see the investment amount starts from 280,000, and then 350,000, then 400,000 and 500,000 respectively. So the difference between the 400,000 and 500,000 as versus 280 and 350 would be under the 400 and 500,000, those are the ready built property. Could be any types of the property, sub-sales or newly built, yeah, or secondary property. However, for the 280 and the 350, and this is the interesting part about this real estate investment, which we would suggest our clients to look into these options particularly, because the idea of these real estate rehabilitation options are basically giving the old property a new life. So what does it mean is the governments encourage those developers acquire those old property that has not been constructed or that has not been renovated for more than 30 years to reconstruct the property. So under these options, you could actually choose to purchase the property under this category, and the investment amount is reduced to 350 and 280. So this is the private residential property, and you do also have options for the commercial investment as well. Again, it's pretty much the same investment amount. The difference is, the location on where you can invest and all. So if you were to contact us, obviously we will be able to explain to you clearly and with more specific information on, what would suit you better. Now, other than the property investment, you could also choose to invest in the capital. For example, under the capital, you could choose to place a fixed deposit of 1.5 million euro for 5 years. And you could also consider invest 500,000 euro into the private equity funds. So as compared to the property investment, so obviously, and it explained that why the property investment is more popular by the number, because under this capital investment, relatively effectively, you have to invest or leave your investment for 5 years, but higher amount, higher sum.
Sure.
So for those who's looking at investing or running a business, they could actually set up a business without any investment amount. And under these options, you are required to actually create 10 full-time employment. So that would satisfy the requirements of the Portugal Golden Visa. And once you have chose your or made the investment decision, then you'll be able to apply for the Portuguese Golden Visa.
Okay, great. So Desmond, most of the people actually who embark on this Portugal GB, they are actually looking at becoming the EU citizen, right? So can you share about how to gain this EU citizenship status? And at the same time, we already have a question as to whether Portugal allows dual citizenship. So can you also share on that?
Yeah, well, I would like to address the question first.
Sure.
Yes, Portugal allowed dual citizenship. So when we talk about dual citizenship, in fact, it is referring to multiple citizenship. So at times when if you were to choose to apply to become a Portuguese citizen, the government of Portugal doesn't require you to surrender, the existing citizenship that you are holding. Yeah, so that addressed the first question. Now, yeah, so talking about becoming an EU citizen, right? It is actually a very straightforward process. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the easiest programs to become an EU citizen among all the Golden Visa. So in terms of, and I would say in terms of the amount of times you need to spend over there, the periods of the investment you are required to maintain, and also the requirements, other requirements for you to become a citizen. Now I'm going to talk about that. So the process of becoming an EU citizen, first of all, you need to become you need to become a Portuguese Golden Visa resident first. And that Portuguese Golden Visa residence would go or prolong for periods of 5 years. And after the 5 years, and you would then have the rights to choose to become a PR or citizen. Now, being a Portuguese Golden Visa resident, yeah, so how it goes is you are given first 2 years, and over the first 2 years, you are required to spend 14 days and maintain the investment that you have invested. And for the first 2 years, you must be free from criminal. At the end of the 2 years, we are submitting all these evidences to the immigration, of Portugal, and you will be then entitled to the 3rd and the 4th year, and you are repeating the same requirements again. At the end of the 4th year, then you'll be given another 2 years, which is the 5th and the 6th years. That 6 years relatively is the extra times for you to apply or to convert to become a PR or citizen. Yeah. So effectively on the 5th year, you need to spend 7 days, again, maintain your investment and free from criminal. Once you have applied to become a PR citizen, there isn't a requirement for you to maintain the investment anymore. Okay. Now, but do take notes. When you apply, if your choice is to become a citizen of Portugal, that in addition to the requirements that I've stated here, there's also a Portuguese language test, for you to sit or to pass in order for you to be able to obtain the citizenship. So talking about the test, nobody like it, but just to give you some idea, there are 6 levels altogether. You are required to pass at level 2, which is the A2. So that gives you some indication on, the test is very, very basic, and it doesn't require to be a master or proficient in the Portuguese language. You are required to have some basic understanding and to be able to respond on certain basic greetings and question. And the test can be there are a lot of online classes available for you to prepare for the test and to pass at the level of the A2. Okay, so as compared to many other countries around the European Unions, some of the Golden Visa might require to spend 6 months in a year if you were to choose to consider for the citizenship. Some of the programs might take 8 years before you can apply. So this is exactly the requirements, for you if you were to go through the Portugal as the golden gates. Yeah.
Thanks. That's almost like just doing a vacation every 2 years to Portugal, right? That's when it's 14 days each year.
Indeed. I mean, having said that, we have seen a lot of clients, who travel to Europe on holiday on a yearly basis, and they learn about these programs, and for them to actually have a side trip. In fact, some of our clients says, the wives now start looking at going to Portugal for shoppings and all. Yeah, for
Okay. Yes, yes. Okay, that's great. But Desmond, you know what? I'm not sure about the rest, but even to me personally, Portugal is generally not like the first country that comes to my mind when someone speaks about Europe. So can you just share with us like how is generally the development and the economic landscape of this country?
Sure, sure. Well, I agree with you, Audrey. I think one of the before I talk about that, right, I would like to actually highlight this slide, and which is the becoming the EU citizen, and you and your family member do have the rights to choose to live and study or work in any of these 27 countries. And this is what we said by, the end game for most of the people that who embark on this Portugal Golden Visa. So, and these are all the 27 countries that are available, for you. And you can see your opportunity, and your kids' opportunity has opened up widely, among all the 27 countries. Okay. So now coming back to Portugal as a country, and why is it Portugal, is a good entry point. And I agree with you, Audrey, that, most of the people, may not pay attention to Portugal. In fact, this is probably, our biggest challenge in it, other than having, the best programs that this country has offered.
Yeah.
For us to actually educate our client, the breakthrough, first of all, is why is it Portugal? And here, I would like to share with everybody, and there are a lot to share about Portugal. I will try my best. Yeah. I have actually came up or I have highlighted some of the amazing ranking. But other than that, I think what I would like to share is more than what you have seen here. Yeah. So I think the country have scored many amazing ranking or index in the world ranking, as you can see. Yeah. For those who has not been to Portugal, the country has been a member of the European Union for 36 years. And over the past 10 years, the country has grown to become the most potential country for foreign investment and the tourism. Okay, now, Portugal has also been elected for the third time as the best tourist destination in the world. So the best tourist destination in the world consecutively for 3 times. Yeah, wow. Okay. So that explains the number of the tourists that returns to Portugal. By statistics, 70% of them. So every 10 of them, 7 people will choose to return back to Portugal after the first visit. Yeah. So it is a leading countries for the arena of producing sustainable energy production. And it produced about 30% of the consumption in the year 2019, mainly in hydropower and the wind generation. Yeah. So this country is a beautiful country. If you have not visited, right, do consider this country as your next travel destination. The country has over 900 kilometers of beautiful coastline, and there is amazing island like Madeira, so which came out as the world top #1 island in the world. So we have our first client who has finally chose Madeira, for their holiday home. Yeah, a villa overlooking the ocean.
Nice.
So check out this island called Madeira, and the country has olive oil plantation, scenic vineyard, and also a lot of UNESCO World Heritage. Yeah. So there are many more that I like to share about this country. But Audrey, let's move on with what other question you have.
Yes, I think whatever that you have shared has already make it impressive to at least visit Portugal, and I think I should personally go there first. Okay, let's move on to the benefits. I know that through this Portugal Golden Visa, there are so many benefits you get even as an EU citizen, and one of it is actually education for children, because this often comes as a primary motive for many, right, who actually want to seek alternative residency options. So can you just share, Desmond, how is it easy to adapt to studying in Portugal or even EU, especially for most people coming from Asia?
Sure. Well, I think generally, right, Portugal is a great place for education. and I've gathered this information from the clients who has already relocated there, and also based upon my own research and survey. First of all, the Portugal University produce high number of the engineers every year, IT graduates, architects, scientists. So they are needed by many international companies that have moved to Portugal now. So if you are looking at IT, engineering, architects, science subjects, your kids, yeah. So do check out Portugal. So as a foreign students, of course, I think the first concern most parents has is the language, how the kids are going to master or manage the language of their study. So the foreign students who are coming to Portugal to study, it is not just because of the attractive programs that are mostly taught in English, but it is also the quality of the education and a combination of the lifestyle as well. Yeah. And if your children they are in the primary or secondary school, you can consider putting them in the government school, which is good for them to actually pick up the Portuguese language. Yeah. And for you, if you are Malaysian, there's a lot of similarity to the Bahasa, like for example, Meja, yeah, and it is referring to table. So there are a lot of the similarity on the language. And your kids will be able to pick up, and gel into the society better, if they are relatively small from primary and secondary school. But if you are considering having the kids to study in the international school, there are fantastic international school around. The tuition fee on average per year is ranging between 8,000 euro to 10,000 euro, and it's really, really affordable. Yeah. So where the subjects are mostly taught in English, if it is in an international school, yeah, and the local school where they learned the Portuguese, yeah, as I mentioned, yeah. So, and of course, talking about the EU citizen, being an EU citizen, in the future, if you plan for this at the very beginning, or at the early stage, when your kids are still more, they are not restricted to study only in Portugal. But when they become an EU citizen 5 years later, the options are open up to cover, the 27 countries. So I'm giving some example here. For example, if you're planning this, in case one of your kids wants to study medicines, and this is a huge savings, yeah, that you are looking at. I'm giving Trinity College Dublin as an example. A non-EU citizen will cost you approximately more than 50,000 per year on the tuition fee. And as an EU citizen, you are basically paying up to 17,000 per year. So there is a big difference between the tuition fee for EU citizen and non-EU citizen.
It's substantial.
It is, Audrey. And looking at an overall, for example, a master degree and a bachelor degree, look at the fees difference, 15,000 or 20,000 on average if it is a non-EU citizen. And if it is a EU citizen, the fees are so affordable. Yeah. So this is in fact, a program where it doesn't require to move or relocate your family to or across to Portugal, but allow you to become a citizen of EU and access to all the wonderful benefits, in the future, being an EU citizen. Okay. Now, the next thing is that I wanted to highlight and to talk about is Erasmus programs. This is an interesting program which I personally think, this Portugal Golden Visa open up the opportunity for your kids, not only in Portugal, not only in EU country or second area, rather also bring them back to other continents, for example, Asia or, Oceanic or US and Canada. Because under these Erasmus programs, your children or your kids could choose to actually study that on the last year on all those chosen country, that has a cooperation with the European University, whereby you are paying the local fee. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So your kids do choose to study at any of those countries that you have seen here, and among all those participating. And let's talk about Australia as an example. There are plenty of the university, University of Queensland, University of New South Wales. There's so many universities that has also participated into these Erasmus programs. And you're not paying an international student's fee. You're basically paying, the 300 or the 500 euro that you have seen. Basically, it's a local student's fee that you're paying. Okay, so this is a substantial benefits and substantial opportunity for your children's education.
Indeed, indeed. So basically, once they become EU citizens, they can qualify for this, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Good. Wow. Okay, this is definitely something that I'm very sure not many people know of. Thanks for sharing this, Desmond.
You're welcome.
Anything more on the education?
Well, I think yeah, pretty much.
That's it on the education, yeah. Okay. Desmond, is Portugal suitable for the working class group, like to get employment, you know? And what about for businessmen to actually continue the new business ventures in Portugal? How is the landscape on this?
Sure. Well, I think everyone can see clearly, you know, from the slides here, you know, the countries, the companies that has now moved to Portugal. Oh. And these are all the multinational companies. Yeah. Talking about, you know, having an employment to work in Portugal. In fact, Portugal ranked #1 for expats. Yeah. And not only expat, but also it covers retiree and also cover migrants with the family in today's trend. Yeah. And I think this is again an amazing statistic and amazing countries for you to consider. And as it covers not only for employment, but it covers for aspect, it covers retirement, it covers, you know, the family's plannings, yeah, for children's education.
All different kind of group then.
Yes.
All different.
So Portugal its name is called the Silicon Valley of Europe. It is wonderful for the countries. And I think Portugal has taken advantage from the Brexit, yeah, because the flight time is just 1.5 hours away from UK, yeah. And the world's largest web summit has announced Lisbon, yeah, the capital, as the host country for the web summit, global web summit for 10 years. Wow. So this has gained a lot of attention to the country and recognize it as a Silicon Valley of Europe again. Yeah, and you can see companies like Google, Huawei, for example, and they have set up their European office in Portugal. Yeah, so obviously there's a reason why they do that. As a business operator, you know, they find that the country offer quality space. Effectively, the office rental is very affordable. They have a great workplace. Yeah, we talk about that. You know, every year they produce so many quality graduates. So not only from Portugal, but around the world, or who choose to study in Portugal. So, and importantly, the language is not a barrier because 70% of the Portuguese, you know, or the workforce speak English. So for a foreign country, for foreign companies that having to set up the operation in the country, I think having a good workforce that speaks the language is very important. Yeah, that speak English, that's very important. But of course, you know, quality lifestyle, we talk about climate, geographical location, you know, direct flights. These are all the plus points. Yeah. So also, I think the government has done a good job as well. The Portugal government has introduced a lot of administrative to simplify the procedures and processes to set up the company and remove the red tape over the years. And it comes to the venture capital and private equity company, whoever that wanted to set up the business in Portugal. The process is fast, the process is clear and straightforward. Also, the government has introduced a series of investment initiative and incentive over the years. For example, the Portugal Golden Visa that we are talking about today, yeah, actually encourage the overseas investor, you know, to come over to set up the business in Portugal by employing 10 staff, as one of the example you can see, where you can actually embark on that and obtain your citizenship later on. Yeah. The startup visa, there's also startup visa. There's also a tax incentive, you know, which kept it at 20% flat, yeah, for 10 years if you are the migrants, for example. So this incentive has brought up a lot of the financial impact to Portugal, and billions of dollars has flown into the countries over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, and with these kind of giant players in the market moving into Portugal, that definitely clearly speaks of how credible the country is as well, for sure. So indeed, yes. That's good. Thanks, Desmond, for that. How about safety? How is Portugal a place, how safe is it for migrants coming from like us, Malaysian, Asia?
Yes. Well, again, it is amazing to find out or for you to learn that Portugal is actually ranked number 3 or the 3rd safest place in the world.
In the world?
Yeah, in the world. And guess
Wow.
what? The safest country is Iceland. The
Okay.
2nd safest country is New Zealand. And the 3rd safest country is Portugal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which means
So
it's the safest country in Europe.
yes, obviously,
right?
yeah, it is the safest country in Europe. Yeah, it is. I think talking about the being a safe country to live, yeah, for your family members, this is one of the very important aspect that you should take into consideration. I think the safety and the quality of the lifestyle, is what people's why people choose to move to Portugal. And last year, the American actually top, is the highest, migrants into Portugal. But other than American, there's also British retiree. There's also Brazilian. There's also French people, and now a lot more and more Asian considering Portugal.
Okay, definitely. I think there's a lot of eye openers here from whatever that you've shared, Desmond. First of all, with knowing that it's actually such a safe country. I mean, certain people, they get a little bit, they take aback when you speak about Europe, right? The safety in Europe. So it's really good to know that Portugal is actually one of the top 3 in the world. Okay, and everything else that you've shared. So how is the process like actually? Where does one begin and how long would the entire process take?
Sure. So we mentioned earlier, before you became a EU citizen, you need to embark on this Portugal Golden Visa to become a golden residence first. It is a very straightforward process, and you can expect to complete the whole process within a period of about a year or so. Yeah. So obviously, we start off with the initial consultation, to assess your needs and also to explain to you that process in more great detail. Yeah. And when you have decided that this is the right programs for you and your family member, then we will advise you on the documentation. And also we will actually get you to sign the power of attorney, allowing us to actually act on your behalf, to open up your tax file in Portugal and also your bank accounts in Portugal. That process takes about 2 months. After 2 months, your bank account is ready, and then you can start moving your fund across over to Portugal. So depending on the types of investment that you plan to embark on, yeah, and you are required to transfer the equivalent amount of euro to Portugal into your own personal bank accounts. Yeah, from there you disburse into the respective investment that you choose. Yeah, and after that we will take on your application further to file the GV application with the Portuguese government. And it takes about 12 months in the past, but we see the process is now taking slightly longer, up to 6 months to complete the process. So basically, you're not required to make the trips to Portugal up to the stage 6, but on the stage 7, you will be getting the pre-approval of your golden visa, and you have 6 months to make your first trip to Portugal to complete the biometrics. Yeah, and also to complete the final process. So after you have completed step 7, then upon your returns to your country, you are expecting to receive the golden visa residence card that is valid for 2 years. Yeah, for the first round, yeah, approximately 1 month later, and that is where your 5 years kick starts. Yeah, so this is a good summary of the whole entire process. So from there, 5 years, and where you clock, all the 14-day stay for 2 years, no criminal, maintain your investment, and then to choose to become a PR or citizen. Okay, so I hope that gives you some idea, on the transition of how these programs actually equip your family, to be from the initial stage of being a GV residence to an EU citizen.
Yeah. Seems very honestly very straightforward, especially after doing other country migration programs. This seems really straightforward. So Desmond, you mentioned that we don't have to go to Portugal until the first biometrics, right?
Yes.
And so how about the property selection and bank account opening? Everything can be done from Malaysia?
Yes, we do not need our clients to make trips for the bank accounts opening, the tax file opening. Everything will be done through us, and the clients will receive all the notifications from the banks directly. The banker will email them, will send all the accounts details, the password, the online internet banking, everything's to them, and they activate it all. And it's as for the investment, we have our partners based in Malaysia, based in Portugal to actually take care of our clients. And most of our clients do meet up with them over online.
Right.
And yes, there are some clients who are considering going over to Portugal. But eventually, most of them decided not to, because the information given to them are so clear to equip them to be able to make decision. Yeah, obviously we will guide our clients hand through and take them through the steps slowly.
Okay, yeah, thanks. That's actually great. That kind of takes off a lot of hassle from the client actually to begin the process. Okay, Desmond, thanks a lot for the very insightful information. So no doubt Portugal provides an excellent quality of life for the modern investor or businessman, right? And this is actually a very, very attractive program. All you need to do is basically get an investment as low as 280,000 euro to begin. And this eventually would let you and your family access the entire Europe of your choice. And it also does not need you to leave the country and move, as the residency is only 14 days every 2 years, yet allowing you to still obtain the citizenship after 5 years. So I think all this is great. And the investment option is also very practical, as real estate purchases are allowed. And Desmond, we know that when we do Australia, this is totally off the plan already since 20 years ago. The tax regime for individuals is also very attractive, surpassing other regimes in many ways as well. Also, there is no requirement to pass any medical examination or English proficiency, which is again so flexible. So no doubt it's a great program. I think for everyone who's attended it today, do research and consider this program for you and your family. All right, it's certainly fantastic. Desmond, we've got 2 questions. All right, would you be able to answer this? Someone is asking, can we do 28 days on the first year and then continue 14 days from year 3 to year 5?
28 days on the first year?
Yes, so I think you want to lump it up.
Can you repeat the question again, Audrey?
Can you do 28 days in the first year?
Yeah.
And continuing 14 days in year 3 to year 5?
Another 14 days, year 3 to year 5. Okay. No, the residency requirements is quite straightforward. The 28 days that you are spending on the first year basically is only used towards fulfilling the requirements on the first and the second year, which is the 14 days minimum. So by spending 28 days on the first year, that says the requirement is only met for first and the second year. Then the 14 days on the third and the fourth year is required, for the third and the fourth year. The fifth year, there is a 7 days stay requirements on the fifth year. So that is, So I guess going back to the question, you can't use the extra days that you spend on the first year towards the fifth year. The answer is no.
Okay. Oh, okay. They actually rephrased it. Sorry, 14 days each year for year 3, year 4, and year 5. So I guess in any case at all, it's always going on a 2-year period, right, Desmond?
That's correct.
It's always on a 2-year period. You can't do it in advance or do it later. Okay, so it's every 2-year period, 14 days must be done, or 7 days each year. That's it.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Next question, Desmond. What is the investment options and how much in Malaysian ringgit are we estimating?
The lowest investment, I mean the lowest and also the most potential investment, in my opinion, is those investment projects or real estate with the 280,000. Reason why? Because this is pre-rehabilitation projects. So when the project is finished, completed, and the market value will be increasing from what you have paid for, to when you first initially purchase a property. So there is a great capital potential gain. So how much does it cost in Ringgit Malaysia? Probably about 1.3 million equivalent.
Especially now the euro is down.
Yes, that's correct. So the euro is down, and this is a good for those clients that are ready, to invest at the stage of investment, and this is actually a great time for them.
Okay, so I guess we've answered whatever questions that are relevant for now. Please feel free to get in touch with us if you still need clarity on the residency days or investment amount or anything. Please contact us. Okay, we've actually come to the end of the session, and there's no consultation fee for us to actually advise you on the initial consultation. So the number is on the screen. Desmond, if you may just go to the next screen. Oh, okay. That this is basically the number on the screen. All right, please get in touch with us. All right, we will be more than happy to walk you through the requirements and set up a call for you. All right, I hope you had a good session today, and anything, please just reach out to us.
Thank you all for joining us.
Okay, good day. Bye everyone. Have a good weekend.
Bye.